Captain Alex Carter had seen war before. He had fought in countless conflicts, traveled to many distant worlds, and faced enemies that most humans could not imagine. But nothing had prepared him for his newest assignment: protecting Princess Leora of Zephyria, a planet far beyond human space, known for its beauty, advanced technology, and fragile political stability. Alex studied the holographic map in front of him as he walked into the command center. The briefing was short but precise. "Captain Carter," the commander said, his voice serious, "you will accompany Princess Leora to Zephyria's capital and ensure her safety at all costs. The neighboring systems are not friendly. They see the princess as a weakness, an opportunity to control Zephyria." Alex nodded. He had been handpicked for this mission not only because of his combat skills, but also because of his experience with alien species. He understood diplomacy, strategy, and the subtle art of gaining trust in unknown worlds. Yet the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on him. A single mistake could mean the end of a princess, a planet, or even a fragile alliance. As he prepared his gear, he could not help but feel curious about the Zephyrians. The humans had only brief records of them. Zephyrians were humanoid but taller and more slender than humans, with skin that shimmered faintly under certain light. Their biology was different too, complex in ways humans struggled to fully understand. Some scientists had even called their reproductive system unique and delicate. Alex would have to be careful, not just as a protector, but as a guest in their world. The moment Alex arrived on Zephyria, he felt the difference immediately. The air was fresher than anything he had breathed on human colonies. Cities shimmered with colors he had never seen. Buildings seemed to flow like water, yet technology was everywhere. Hover vehicles, energy shields, and holographic displays that floated in midair. Zephyrians moved gracefully, their eyes filled with intelligence and curiosity. Princess Leora herself was unlike anyone Alex had ever met. She stood tall, regal, yet carried herself with a softness that drew people in. Her silver hair flowed like liquid light, and her deep blue eyes seemed to study him carefully the moment he entered the room. She did not speak immediately. She simply watched, evaluating him the way a general might evaluate a new soldier. "You are Captain Alex Carter?" she asked at last, her voice melodic but firm. "The humans who serve our allies speak of your bravery." Alex bowed slightly, a habit he had learned in dealing with alien dignitaries. "Yes, Your Highness. I am here to ensure your safety. Nothing will harm you while I am assigned to you." Leora's expression softened. "I hope your skills are as sharp as your words. Our enemies are cunning, and even a small mistake can cost lives." The journey to the capital began aboard a stealth ship, one designed to evade detection and attacks. Alex took his position at the control station, monitoring sensors, weapon systems, and communication channels. Leora sat nearby, observing the operation with curiosity. "You humans are different from my people," she said after a while. "You take risks, even when the odds are against you." Alex glanced at her, surprised. "We do what we must to survive, and to protect those who cannot protect themselves." Leora nodded slowly. "I have learned that the hard way. Many of my guards would hesitate when danger approaches. But humans, you act." The conversation was interrupted by an alert. The sensors detected multiple ships approaching at high speed, hostile mercenaries attempting to ambush them before they reached the city. Alex's instincts took over. "Princess, stay low. Shields up." The battle began. Alex moved like a shadow, his human reflexes unmatched. He maneuvered the ship through narrow asteroid fields, dodging energy blasts and returning fire with precision. The Zephyrian technology was advanced, but it lacked the unpredictability and creativity of a human mind. Alex's ingenuity gave them the edge. Through the chaos, Leora watched him. She had trained in diplomacy and strategy, but battle was another matter. She had never seen such courage. The way Alex calculated risks, protected her at every turn, and remained calm under fire made her heart beat faster, not with fear, but with admiration. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the ambush ended. The mercenary ships were destroyed or driven off. The ship sustained minor damage, but both Alex and Leora were unharmed. Alex wiped sweat from his brow, catching his breath. "You were remarkable," Leora said quietly. "I did not think a human could move with such precision. Or such courage." Alex shrugged modestly. "I'm trained for this. I do what's necessary." But Leora saw something more than training. She saw loyalty, bravery, and a heart that could carry the weight of responsibility without faltering. And in that moment, a seed of trust and perhaps something deeper was planted between them. The ship landed in the fortified city. The architecture was breathtaking, towers that glimmered like crystal, streets lined with floating gardens and citizens moving gracefully among advanced technology. But beauty could not hide danger. Even here the enemies were watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Leora met with her advisors discussing political strategy, alliances, and security measures. Alex remained nearby, vigilant, observing the room for any signs of threat. His presence was silent but commanding. The advisors whispered among themselves, clearly impressed by the humans' professionalism. Later that evening, as the city settled into an uneasy quiet, Alex checked on the princess again. Leora had a small injury on her arm from the earlier battle, barely noticeable, but Alex's instincts told him to examine it. He used the portable scanner and his eyes widened slightly. "This is unusual," he murmured. The injury was minor, yet the scanner indicated an unexpected reaction in her biology. "Your Highness." "I don't understand it entirely, but this is not normal for your species." Leora looked at him concerned. "What do you mean?" "I think it's nothing dangerous, but it is different. I'll monitor it, just in case." Leora nodded, trusting him. "I am grateful, Captain Carter. Not many humans would notice, or care enough to act." Alex felt a strange sense of responsibility. It was no longer just about keeping her safe from enemies. It was about protecting her life in every way possible, even from things that neither he nor the Zephyrian scientist fully understood. That night, as the city lights shimmered below, Alex stood on the balcony of their quarters, looking out at the horizon. Zephyria was beautiful, but it was fragile like glass. He knew danger was not over. He also knew that this mission would test him in ways he could not yet imagine. He thought about the princess. She was more than royalty. She was strong, intelligent, and capable. Yet she relied on him, and that responsibility weighed heavily. Humans were known for courage, but Alex realized that protecting someone like Leora required more than courage. It required understanding, patience, and perhaps something else, a connection that went beyond duty. As he turned back to the room, he saw Leora standing in the doorway, looking at him with curiosity and a hint of admiration. "Do you sleep, Captain?" she asked. "I sleep when I can," he replied with a small smile. "But tonight I'm keeping watch." She nodded slowly. "I am glad you are here. I trust you." Alex felt a warmth he did not expect. Trust was rare, especially in alien worlds filled with politics, betrayal, and danger. He would not betray it. Not now, not ever. Outside, the city hummed quietly. Stars glittered in the distance, and somewhere beyond the horizon, enemies were surely planning their next move. But Alex Carter, human soldier, would be ready. And for the first time he realized that protecting someone could change a person, not just physically, but in heart and mind. The night passed quietly, but Alex knew this was only the beginning. Zephyria's beauty hid secrets, and the dangers they faced were not only from outside enemies. Something deeper, more unpredictable was about to unfold, an event neither human nor Zephyrian could have anticipated. And Alex Carter, trained for war and strategy, was about to face a challenge unlike any he had ever encountered. Days passed on Zephyria, and the calm after the earlier attack was deceptive. The city sparkled under twin suns, yet danger lurked in every shadow. Princess Leora continued her royal duties, attending strategy meetings and overseeing the city's defenses. Captain Alex Carter remained at her side, vigilant and alert, ever ready to act. Despite the tension, a subtle connection began to grow between them. Leora, who had always maintained a formal distance with her guards, started speaking to Alex more freely. She asked questions about Earth, about humans, and even about his experiences in battle. Alex, in turn, shared stories carefully, mindful of Zephyrian customs but allowing glimpses of his true self. One afternoon, the city came under an unexpected attack. A fleet of enemy ships had breached the outer perimeter, and their target was clear: Princess Leora. Alarms blared, sending citizens into panic. Alex's training kicked in immediately. "Princess, to the secure chambers now," he commanded, his voice steady even as the ship's shields took repeated hits. Leora followed without hesitation, Though she was trained to lead, she trusted Alex's judgment completely in battle. The two of them moved through corridors with practiced precision, narrowly avoiding debris and energy blasts. Once they reached a secure chamber deep inside the palace, Alex checked the structural integrity. "We're safe here for now," he said, scanning for any hidden threats. His eyes then caught Leora's. There was fear in her gaze, but also a rare hint of vulnerability. "I thought I could handle anything," Leora admitted quietly. "But seeing it like this, I realized how much I rely on you, Alex." Alex's heart thumped, though he kept his voice calm. "It's my job, Princess. And I mean it. I'll keep you safe no matter what." For a moment, the air between them felt different, charged, almost electric. Leora looked down, uncertain. Humans and Zephyrians rarely formed close personal bonds, especially of this nature. Yet here in this enclosed space, surrounded by danger, an unspoken trust began to grow into something more personal. Later that evening, as the city's defenses stabilized, Alex and Leora were left alone in the secure chamber. The adrenaline of the day's events still lingered. Leora, exhausted, collapsed onto a cushioned bench. Alex offered medical aid, checking her pulse and ensuring she was unharmed. "You don't need to do this," she whispered, though her eyes betrayed her appreciation. "I do," Alex replied simply. "It's not just about my duty. I care about you, your safety, your life. That is important to me." Their eyes met, and for a fleeting moment the distance between human and alien seemed to vanish. It was a delicate, intimate moment, fueled by shared danger and trust. In an instant they leaned closer. Neither expected what happened next, but it was a natural outcome of the Zephyrian biology, delicate, unique, and intertwined with emotion. A bond formed that neither fully understood in that moment. The following days were filled with mixed emotions. Both Alex and Leora struggled to comprehend the significance of their encounter. Humans and Zephyrians did not casually form such bonds, and the implications were profound. Then, a few weeks later, signs began to appear. Leora noticed subtle changes in her body, changes she could not explain. Her advisors were puzzled, and medical scans revealed a surprising development. Leora was pregnant. The news shocked both the Zephyrian scientist and Alex himself. "This can't be right," Alex murmured as he reviewed the medical data with the royal physicians. "I don't understand how this happened." Leora, though initially stunned, looked at Alex with wide eyes. "It seems it did happen. But what do we do? What will this mean for me? For my people?" Alex took a deep breath, knowing that his next words would be crucial. "We protect this child, no matter what. And we protect you. That's all that matters right now." For the first time, Leora felt a sense of relief. She had faced enemies, assassination attempts, and political intrigue. But this situation was unlike anything she had anticipated. Yet Alex's calm and determined presence gave her courage. She realized that he was not just her protector, he was someone she could trust completely. The city's political atmosphere grew tense as rumors began to circulate. Some leaders whispered that a human father could complicate the royal lineage. Others saw potential, a union that could bridge Zephyrians and humans, creating an unprecedented alliance. Leora and Alex had little time to consider public opinion, however, as enemies were still watching and waiting for the right moment to strike. Despite the external pressure, life continued. Alex adapted quickly to his new role, assisting Leora in managing her duties while also preparing for any threat. He learned more about Zephyrian customs, their unique biology, and the delicate balance of court politics. The more he understood, the more he realized how remarkable Leora was. She was strong, intelligent, and capable, yet she carried her burden with grace and dignity. During this time, moments of quiet intimacy began to emerge. Alex would sit with Leora in the palace gardens, observing the twin suns set over the city. They would discuss strategy, the future of Zephyria, and even share small personal stories. Leora began to see Alex not just as a soldier, but as a person with depth, heart, and unwavering courage. One evening, Leora spoke candidly about her fears. "Alec, I don't know how my people will react. Some may never accept this. Some may see it as a threat to our traditions." Alex took her hand gently. "Then we face it together. You are not alone in this. Whatever happens, we handle it side by side. That's what humans do. That's what I will do." Her eyes softened. For the first time, she allowed herself to feel the depth of her connection to him. Not just trust, but a bond forged through shared danger and responsibility. Yet, even as they grew closer, threats loomed. A rival faction within Zephyria saw the pregnancy as an opportunity to destabilize the royal court. They began plotting behind the scenes, sending spies and agents to monitor the princess and her human protector. Alex's instincts never faltered. He detected subtle movements, strange signals, and unexplained activity. Every day was a test of vigilance, courage, and quick thinking. During one patrol, Alex caught a spy attempting to infiltrate the palace. Using human ingenuity and Zephyrian technology, he subdued the intruder without harm. Leora watched from the shadows, impressed once again by his skill and dedication. "You truly are remarkable, Alex," she whispered after the incident. "I do what's necessary," he replied. "For you, for your child, for Zephyria." The princess's respect for him deepened, and her admiration grew into something more profound. She realized that this human soldier, an outsider in every way, was now an integral part of her life and the life growing within her. As the weeks passed, both Alex and Leora adapted to the new reality. They planned for contingencies, studied ways to protect the child, and learned more about each other's strengths and weaknesses. Through danger and uncertainty, their bond strengthened. The part ends with Alex standing on the balcony of the royal quarters, looking out at the city lights. Leora approached quietly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Alex," she said softly, "whatever happens, thank you for being here." "For me," he turned to her, meeting her gaze, "I'll always be here. That is my promise." Above them, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the city. Alex felt a mixture of determination and anticipation. The next challenges would be greater, the dangers more unpredictable, but one thing was certain. The bond formed between human and princess could not be broken. And soon both would discover just how far courage, loyalty, and trust could go, even across species. The news of Princess Leora's pregnancy spread quickly through the capital of Zephyria. Some whispered with concern, others with hope. Within the royal court, discussions turned heated. Many officials feared that a child with a human father could destabilize traditions and disrupt political alliances. Others argued that it could be the key to a stronger bond between humans and Zephyrians. Leora tried to remain calm, focusing on her duties despite the uncertainty. She spent hours in strategy meetings, overseeing city defenses and maintaining contact with allies. Yet behind her composed exterior, worry gnawed at her. Would her people accept this child? Would her enemies exploit the situation? And above all, what danger could this bring to the man who had become her closest companion? Captain Alex Carter noticed her tension immediately. He had been trained to read people, and the subtle lines of worry on her face told him all he needed to know. "Princess," he said gently as they walked through the palace corridors, "you don't have to face this alone. We will handle it. Together. Always." She looked up at him, the faintest smile appearing. "I trust you, Alex, more than I have trusted anyone." Their quiet moment was interrupted by the palace alert system. Red lights flashed across the hallways and alarms blared. "Intruder detected," a mechanical voice announced. "Unauthorized access to the council chambers." Alex's hand went to his sidearm instantly. "Princess, stay back," he said firmly. This could be serious. Within moments, Alex was moving with precise steps, analyzing the situation. A small group of armed intruders had infiltrated the palace, moving quickly and silently toward the council chambers. They were highly trained, professionals likely sent by rival factions looking to exploit the princess's condition. Alex intercepted them in the grand hall. Using a combination of human agility and Zephyrian security protocols, he outmaneuvered the attackers. His movements were swift and controlled, each action calculated for maximum efficiency. The intruders had expected to intimidate the royal court, but they had not accounted for human ingenuity. As the confrontation unfolded, Leora observed from a safe distance. She had witnessed battles before, but Alex's actions were extraordinary. He didn't just fight, he anticipated, adapted, and turned the enemy's strategy against them. Zephyrian security forces joined the fray, but Alex's leadership guided them, combining human tactics with alien technology to neutralize the threat quickly. When the intruders were finally subdued, Alex stood tall, breathing steadily. Leora approached, her eyes wide with admiration. "You saved us again," she said softly. "I don't know what we would do without you." Alex shook his head. "It's what I'm here for. I promise to protect you, and that doesn't change. Not for a moment." Her gaze lingered on him. In that moment, Leora realized something profound. This human, with his courage and loyalty, was more than a soldier. He was a protector in every sense, someone she could rely on completely, even with a child on the way. But danger was far from over. The intruders were only the beginning. Word of the princess's pregnancy had reached neighboring systems, and they saw an opportunity. Some wanted to manipulate the situation politically. Others wanted to attack outright. Leora and Alex were aware that every day brought new risks. In the days following the attack, Alex intensified his efforts. He trained Zephyrian guards in human tactics, how to anticipate an enemy's moves, how to strategize under pressure, and how to act decisively when hesitation could be fatal. The Zephyrians were skilled, but Alex's experience added a new layer of effectiveness. Under his guidance, the palace defenses became stronger than ever. Meanwhile, Leora began to confide in him about the personal challenges of her condition. "Alex, I feel different," she admitted one evening as they walked through the palace gardens. "Not just physically, but emotionally. I worry about the child, about the future, about what my people will think." Alex took her hand gently. "I know it's overwhelming, but you are not alone. This child and you have my protection, always. We will face whatever comes together." Leora looked at him, feeling a sense of relief she hadn't experienced in weeks. The human's words were simple, but they carried a weight she trusted more than any political counsel or royal advisor. Then came the final test. A full-scale assassination attempt was planned during a diplomatic gathering. Representatives from neighboring systems were present, unaware of the danger. The attackers intended to strike swiftly, targeting the princess and anyone close to her. Alex detected subtle signs of the impending threat, a pattern in security breaches, unusual activity in surveillance systems, and whispers from informants. He prepared silently, positioning himself near the princess and coordinating Zephyrian forces discreetly. The attack began with a series of explosions outside the main hall. Panic erupted, but Alex remained calm. "Stay low, princess," he ordered, scanning for the assailants. His eyes were sharp, his instincts flawless. The intruders moved fast, but Alex was faster. Using a combination of human reflexes and Zephyrian technology, he neutralized the attackers one by one. The Zephyrian guards, inspired by his courage and precision, fought with renewed confidence. The battle was fierce, but Alex's leadership turned the tide. At one point, an enemy aimed a weapon directly at Leora. Without hesitation, Alex leaped in front of her, taking the full impact on his armored chest. He grunted but remained standing, holding his ground as he returned fire. Leora's eyes filled with fear, followed by awe. She had never seen such bravery. When the last intruder fell, the hall was silent except for the heavy breathing of soldiers and guards. Alex turned to Leora, checking her for injuries. She was unharmed but shaken. "You saved me," she whispered, her voice trembling. "And I will continue to do so." Alex replied firmly, "No one will harm you while I am here." In the aftermath, Leora realized something profound. Alex's courage was not just physical. It was a reflection of his heart and mind. He had risked himself repeatedly, not for glory, not for recognition, but out of loyalty and care. He represented the best of humanity: bravery, intelligence, and compassion. The political fallout was immediate. Some leaders questioned the presence of a human so closely tied to the royal family. Others were inspired, seeing the potential for unity and cooperation. The princess's pregnancy, once seen as a potential scandal, began to symbolize hope, a bridge between species. Leora spent the evening in private, reflecting on the events of the day. She thought about Alex, the human soldier who had become more than just her protector. She realized that she had come to rely on him in ways she had never expected. He had earned her trust, her respect, and perhaps even something more personal, though she did not yet fully name it. Alex, meanwhile, remained vigilant. He knew that threats would not cease simply because one battle was won. Zephyria was a world of intrigue, power struggles, and unpredictable dangers. Yet he also knew that he had found a purpose greater than any mission: protecting the princess and the life she carried. As night fell over the city, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the palace walls. Alex stood by the balcony, looking out at the lights of Zephyria. Leora joined him quietly, resting her hand on his shoulder. "Alex," she said softly, "I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing. I am grateful for you. For everything you have done and everything you will do." He turned to her, his gaze steady. "We face it together, Princess. Whatever comes, we face it together." The city below seemed calm, but Alex knew better. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges, enemies, and political intrigue. Yet for the first time he felt a deep sense of purpose, not just as a soldier, but as a protector, a guide, and perhaps a friend, or something even more. The bond between human and princess had grown stronger through shared danger, mutual trust, and the unexpected event that had changed both their lives forever. Soon they would face challenges that tested not only their courage but their hearts, and they would have to do so as one. The morning sun cast golden light over Zephyria, illuminating the city's sparkling towers and floating gardens. But beneath the beauty, tension hummed like a quiet storm. Word of Princess Leora's pregnancy had spread beyond the capital, and rival factions from neighboring systems were preparing an attack. They saw the unborn child not as a symbol of hope, but as a threat to their own ambitions. Captain Alex Carter stood on the palace balcony, surveying the horizon. His mind ran through strategies, contingencies, and possible outcomes. He had faced countless battles before, but this one carried more at stake than ever: the princess, the unborn child, and the fragile trust between humans and Zephyrians. Leora joined him quietly, resting a hand on her growing belly. "Alex," she said softly, "they will come. I can feel it, but with you here I do not feel afraid." Alex gave a small nod, his jaw set. "We will face them together. I promise to protect you both, and I will keep that promise no matter what." The palace soon came under siege. A fleet of enemy ships descended from the skies, energy beams streaking toward the city. Panic erupted in the streets as civilians ran for cover. But the city was not defenseless. Zephyrian shields activated and defense turrets opened fire, while Alex coordinated human and Zephyrian forces alike. "Hold your positions," Alex shouted, moving among the defenders. "Protect the civilians. Protect the princess!" The first wave of attackers was fierce. Their ships moved unpredictably, using strategies Zephyrians had never seen. But Alex's human ingenuity turned the tide. He directed the city's defenses with precision, predicting enemy maneuvers and finding weaknesses in their formation. Every human tactic he employed complemented Zephyrian technology, creating a defense that no enemy had anticipated. Leora, though limited by her pregnancy, took command of the Zephyrian forces from the palace command room. Her strategic mind, combined with Alex's guidance, allowed them to coordinate defenses effectively. Even from her chair, she gave orders with authority and clarity, her voice calm despite the chaos outside. As the battle raged, Alex led a small team to intercept enemy soldiers attempting to breach the palace gates. Moving swiftly, he used both human and alien weapons, disabling intruders while avoiding unnecessary harm. His courage inspired the Zephyrian guards, who followed his lead with renewed determination. At one point, a powerful enemy weapon fired directly at the palace's central hall, where Leora was stationed. Alex saw it instantly. Without hesitation, he rushed to intercept the energy beam, using a combination of shields and rapid maneuvers to redirect it safely away from the princess. The maneuver required perfect timing, and the strain left him momentarily off balance. Leora's eyes widened in awe. "Alex," she shouted, fear and admiration mixed in her voice. But she also trusted him implicitly. She knew that he would not fail, and his actions proved that humans were capable of courage beyond what Zephyrians had imagined. With the immediate threat neutralized, Alex turned to face the remaining enemies. Using clever tactics, he divided their forces, created traps, and outmaneuvered them. Zephyrian technology alone could not have done this. It was human intuition and ingenuity that made the difference. Hours passed, and the tide of battle finally began to turn. Enemy forces were retreating, their strategy defeated by the combined strength of humans and Zephyrians. Citizens emerged cautiously from their shelters, witnessing the remarkable display of bravery and teamwork. Once the battle ended, the palace courtyard filled with weary but relieved defenders. Leora walked to Alex, her eyes shining. You have done something no one thought possible, she said softly. You've saved Zephyria, me, and our child. Alex smiled faintly, exhausted but satisfied. We did it together. It was never just me. Zephyrians fought bravely too, but yes, I am glad I could help. The political leaders gathered afterward. Some were skeptical of the human presence, but even they could not deny the results. The child in Leora's womb had become a symbol, a bridge between species, a living testament to unity, courage, and hope. In the days following the battle, Leora's advisors worked to adjust the political narrative. They highlighted the collaboration between humans and Zephyrians, showing how Alex's courage and strategic mind had saved the city. Public opinion slowly shifted. What began as controversy became admiration, and many began to hope that this union could represent a new era of cooperation. Leora herself took moments to reflect. She had faced danger, political pressure, and personal uncertainty, yet she had come through stronger. She realized that her respect and trust for Alex had grown into something more profound. He was no longer just a protector. He was a partner, a guide, and a steadfast presence in a world that often felt unpredictable. Alex, meanwhile, continued to stand by her side. He had not only proven human courage, but had demonstrated loyalty, intelligence, and compassion in ways that Zephyrians had never seen. He understood their culture better than anyone, and his actions had created a lasting impact. One evening, as the city recovered, Leora and Alex walked through the palace gardens. The twin suns were setting, casting long shadows across the floating flowers. Leora rested her hand on her belly, feeling the life growing within her. Alex, she said softly, I never imagined that someone from another world could care so much, could fight so fiercely, and could inspire hope in so many. Alex took her hand gently. I do what is right, Princess. Humans may be different, but courage, loyalty, and care, those are things any species can recognize, and I will always be here. For you, for the child, for Zephyria. She looked into his eyes, seeing the truth in his words. For the first time, she felt completely safe, not just physically, but emotionally. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she and Alex would face them together. The city of Zephyria slowly began to rebuild. Citizens repaired homes, restored gardens, and celebrated survival. The battle had left scars, but it also created a sense of unity. Humans and Zephyrians worked side by side, learning from each other and forming connections that had never existed before. Leora's child became a symbol of this new era. The story of the human soldier who risked everything to protect the princess spread throughout the planet and even reached human space. It inspired hope, respect, and admiration for the human species. Alex, standing beside Leora in the palace courtyard, watched the city thrive. He realized that this mission had changed him. He had come to Zephyria to protect, but he had also built trust, friendship, and perhaps something even more meaningful. Humans were capable of courage, yes, but also of love, empathy, and lasting impact. Leora placed her hand on his shoulder once more. Thank you, Alex, for everything. You have not only protected us, you have shown what humans are truly capable of. Alex smiled faintly. I only did what I had to, but knowing it made a difference, that is enough. The twin suns set completely, leaving the city bathed in the soft glow of Zephyrian lights. Above, stars twinkled in a vast, endless sky. For the first time, Alex felt a sense of peace. He had faced impossible challenges, battled against overwhelming odds, and yet emerged not only victorious but transformed. The princess and the human soldier stood side by side, looking toward the future, a future filled with hope, unity, and life that crossed the boundaries of species. The unborn child they protected would one day symbolize the courage, loyalty, and strength that humans could offer to the galaxy. And as night fell over Zephyria, Alex Carter knew that he had left a mark that would endure far beyond any battle. He had proven that human courage, determination, and compassion could shape worlds, and perhaps even inspire a new era among the stars. The story of a soldier and a princess, once strangers from different worlds, had become a legend of bravery, trust, and unity, and together they looked forward to the future, undaunted, unbroken, and forever connected.